And welcome back to the final edition of Cocodona Live, presented by Salomon. I am your host, riding solo today. I've kind of dropped my crew and my pacers. As we are following along, we are getting word that we have eyes on Maggie Guterl and her pacer on their way up Eldon. And we're going to bring you to them right now. There is Courtney Dauwalter with the yellow pacer bib, and there she is. There's Maggie, courtesy this footage courtesy of Tony Hill making his way up that Mount Eldon climb. Let's just listen in.
A lot of breathing. Late breaking, breathing hard.
Again, this is Maggie Guterl. She is your women's race leader who has absolutely been leading from the out front for the majority of the race now. She's about halfway up that Eldon climb, which puts her about around mile 248. And again, if you are just joining us in the chat, we decided to do a surprise primetime pop-in as we were able to get a camera on Megatron as she makes her way up the Eldon climb. And while this feed might cut in and out, we're going to stay on it because she is our women's leader. And currently 7th overall. Again, we're going to listen in. But for those of you asking in the chat, we do have a lot of questions about Jamil. How is Jam Jam himself doing? I did just get word from Skylar Hall. They're almost 7 miles past Fort Tuthill. They say Jamil's looking good. The expected general fatigue. And he is moving well now that he's digested a large bowl of pasta, which he ate at the Fort Tuthill aid station at mile 219. So again, he's about mile 225 now, making his way to Walnut Canyon. That should put him in a little under 9 miles or so before he gets into Walnut Canyon. But again, you are looking at live feed from Mount Eldon in Flagstaff, where Maggie Guterl is making her way up the final climb of the Cocodona 250 course. Right now you're taking in those views. We're looking southeast. Maggie's climbing up toward the final aid station, which would be aid station 21 atop, just below the summit of Mount Eldon. She's been moving well with her pacer, Courtney Dauwalter. And Courtney obviously has been doubling up on that pacing duty. She was pacing Jamil. For a while during the few other sections earlier in the race. So the feed, again, we are in the mountains, and we're going to cut. The feed might cut in and out, but we are going to stick with it because we are determined to get you as much footage as we can of 7th overall and our women's race leader, Maggie Guterl. We're working on getting a feed down at the finish line as well, and I'll be trying to give some verbal updates about some other runners. But right now, we were able to get a couple feeds back up and running. Again, we've been working all day to try to extend this coverage to a little extra prime time view as more runners make their way into Flagstaff. Of course, the field is quite spread out. We will bring the audio back in a little bit, and there we go as they're back up the climb.
There you go. She's definitely going a lot faster than I expected her. I was going to meet her at the very bottom, but ended up going to the top.
Yeah, I think she would have definitely dropped you, Tony, if you let that happen. No offense. She is cruising.
Nope, none taken. None taken whatsoever. Whenever I run an ultra, I try to keep pace with the lead woman. Is my kind of go-to strategy because we're always so steady. That would not be the case on this race. No way. I would be back on the Cocodona plateau at about this moment.
Absolutely. I would have to second that one, Tony. Again, this is that was the voice of Tony Hill. He's been one of our filmers on the ground and in the sky. He was one of our 2 drone pilots. And again, we were originally scheduled to wrap up coverage this morning because we thought we would have most of the podium done by this morning. But as we have continued to tell you, as we have been bringing this coverage since early Monday morning, this race has proven to be even more challenging than it was originally planned, which is it's just really a really brutal, a really brutal yet beautiful course. That's what we're hearing from a lot of the runners out there.
I like brutal.
Brutal. I think we are going to use that as a new word, Tony. I did say it on accident, but I'm going to pretend it was on purpose. So, hashtag brutal. It is the new adjective that I am going to add to the mix late in the coverage for the Cocodona Live, presented by Salomon here, as we are in our final show. The race, of course, is going to go on until Saturday morning. This year, we are just bringing you as much as we can, which is going to put us, we originally were scheduled to do up to 72 hours, but Michael Versteeg himself, that's around when we got to our race leader overall, of course, Michael Versteeg, who won the race outright this morning. But now we have pulled some strings, made some calls, and while I am riding 100% solo in the studio, I couldn't imagine how some of those runners out there are just going for 250 plus miles with little sleep, lots of heat, and as we're looking at here, lots of climbing, because this is your women's race leader, Maggie Guterl, Durango, Colorado resident, and we know her well. Many of us know her as Magatrons. Magatron, a multi-time Barkley participant, of course, Big's Backyard champion 2019 with 250 miles in 60 hours. She just looks super determined as she's making her way up this climb. And again, this is that same climb we brought you on.
It's probably enough.
This morning with Michael Versteeg as we followed him up the climb. This is the section where obviously we're seeing a lot more ponderosa pine. The vegetation continues to change. We have a lot of rocks. It gets a little slippery at parts, and the pine coverage. And I can see now we are getting closer to the aspen section right there. So we must actually be making our way toward the sunset connector. I'll refresh my GPS to confirm we're kind of making our way up there. We're almost up at this final section. There's going to be a couple more switchbacks. For those of you that have never climbed Mount Eldon here in Flagstaff, right off Highway 89, there's a couple more switchbacks, and then there will be the Sunset Trail, which will skirt the summit and bring Maggie over to the aid station, which will be aid station 21 of 21, the final aid stop. And then it's all, for the most part, all downhill from there as she makes her way toward Heritage Square.
Right on.
There you go. These are great visuals we've got from Tony Hill, as he's now will follow behind, and there's the Sunset Trail right there. And again, that hook's right beneath the summit. If they had kept going straight, they would have gone up to those fire towers that you might see if you were driving in Flagstaff. And just a few weeks ago, there was actually a decent amount of snow on this section, as we saw in Jamil's Run Steep Get High vlog. But I guess there's been enough sun to melt this north-facing section of trail, which typically can have snow on it into early June sometimes. Right now, it's actually looking kind of hot. Tony, is it? Is that sun pretty intense up there? And again, his feed might cut in and out as we go behind the backside of the mountain, but we will stay on the feed regardless. We wanted to get you any visuals that we could of Maggie Guterl. And again, I'm your host, Rob Ricardo, and I am going to try to get another follow cam down into town because she will be about 8 miles or so. Once she hits the aid station, she's got 8 miles or so to get herself down to downtown Flagstaff. Heritage Square, where she will head to the finish line as your women's champion, the inaugural Cocodona 250. And there you see it.
Get some.
Right there, and that's a similar tactic that Michael Versteeg used early this morning. Actually, I believe that was also we were able to follow Peter Mortimer before we hit the deadline for our coverage. We were able to get some footage of Peter Mortimer, who did go on to finish second place, Flagstaff resident. So big shout out, congratulations to Peter. We did have our documentary team on him all the way, so we've got plenty of footage that will be out in the coming months as our team continues to capture footage to bring you the story of this inaugural race. But Peter did take a similar tactic, stopping to put his hands in the snow for a little natural aid right there. And again, thank you to everyone in the chat. We do have a question from Jason Ponce. Is the milk and cookies plan still happening? Of course, he is referring to the milk and cookie promise that my co-host, who's not with me right now, Matt Feldick, but who has been crushing the coverage with me. Couldn't have done it without him. He is home with his family, well-deserved, resting up after many hours of no sleep. He did text me, I'd say about 5 minutes before we went live, so about 15 or 20 minutes ago. He did confirm that the milk and cookies plan to get to our Stefan Claus, as we have been calling him, Stefan Fiendero of California, the youngest runner in this race. At 20 years old, he is looking strong, and he is actually that runner himself. Where we do not have a camera on him. He is at mile 236, according to the tracker. Stefan Fiendero, who has been running from the start with a Santa hat. Started as Santa Man, and now he's Stefan Claus, and we are going to bring him some milk and cookies. Matt says he can confirm plans are in place to deliver the milk and cookies, by the way. And I said, excellent. I don't know what the plans are, but we will certainly walk that talk. And while we will not be able to live stream the milk and cookies handoff of 2021, we will try to get photos of that. After this, I will be heading up to Flagstaff myself to try to help out the documentary team and get some more coverage as the front and back of from the front to the back of the pack continue to make their way up. And again, if you're just joining us, we are getting visuals on Maggie Guterl, our women's race leader in 7th place overall currently. She climbs closer and closer to the final aid station. And she's with pacer Courtney Dualter, who again, Courtney and her husband Kevin they've been all over yo-yoing pacing duties, just absolutely been a pleasure to see on the course. They've been so kind to give us many interviews throughout the last few days, and we do thank them for that. But we'll see. I think Courtney's now got some good beta on this Cocodona course, so maybe we'll see if she'll throw her name in the hat in the future. We did ask her that, and she said, one day. So, and here we go. As we come around that turn, we're going to get eyes on the aid station out there. It's just a beautiful view. And again, the footage might be a little shaky from here and there, but we are kind of on the back side of this mountain. We're looking about northeast in this beautiful view right there. There is the cinder cones.
Not yet.
Making their way through those young aspen trees right there.
Are you going to mind the water back in the bottle?
And Dave Smith is asking, did you guys get some sleep? The other two members of the team in the studio, Anthony Esposito, again, who made these great graphics packages, we did send him home to get some sleep. And Matt Feldake, hopefully he got some sleep, but he's home with his family. And I will hopefully get some sleep for the first time in about 40 hours or so. We might not even be on air. I might also be hallucinating. I cannot yet confirm nor deny that. But either way, there is no complaints from us in the studio because these runners are just inspiring us from the front to the back of the pack. I'm just sitting here. They're crushing 250 plus miles on what we know as a grueling and what we're now calling a brutiful course. It's brutal yet beautiful. And yes, that is O'Leary in the distance. It looks like we have a little camera handoff there. We did see that was Tony Hill. He's going to go run out and get the drone. He's been doing double duty for us, so our feed might cut in and out. But we are now in the exposed section where it's typically quite windy. So we're going to see what we can do. But the goal is to follow Maggie as far down from here as possible. And if the feed cuts, we do have another runner waiting down near Buffalo Park, which will put her a little under 2 miles out from the finish. And hopefully we'll get some eyes on her in the finish line. So while we take in these amazing views of our women's race leader in 7th place overall, Magatron, we are for those of you asking in the chat, yes, we've got Dawn Greenwald in 2nd place, at which she's approaching Walnut Canyon, and Jesse Morton Langhaug is in 3rd, who is also approaching Walnut Canyon. She's about 2 miles out from that. So the race for 2nd place is about a mile apart according to our GPS here on our track leaders. But right now we are looking at a very commanding lead from Maggie. It just looks like a lot of grit, a lot of determination, which is no surprise at all. So Maggie is about 8 or 9 miles from the finish as she makes her way to the final aid station. She's currently at about mile 248. And again, thank you all for sticking with us. And if you are joining us and hoping for more coverage like this in future races, the way that we can keep making it happen is we need more great volunteers out there like this. We do have a lot of filmers on the ground. It's really the only way to make it happen currently. We've got a small crew here in the studio in Phoenix, and we need a lot of you on the ground. So next year for Cocodona, we hope to bring you wall-to-wall coverage, because now we are learning more and more about the course and the coverage, maybe what tools we'll need, maybe what things that work well. and we've been talking about this all week. This is a lot like what ultra running's like. It's trial and error, problem solving, and that's just what draws us here to the sport. That, and of course the great community that's in the chat. So bear with us as the feed will continue to cut in and out, which we are looking at now. Looks like we're almost at the aid station. So again, as we're on this this dip on the mountain before they're on their way to Eldon Lookout Road, we will have a little cut in and out. But again, we figured any visuals is better than no visuals. So as we follow our race leader, and this is just a quintessential Flagstaff bluebird sky. And we'll get the feedback up of Maggie Guterl soon. So let's bring that back up in a bit. And thank you to Jin Yang and Carly, Isaac, Beverly O'Neill. We appreciate the support, the super chat donations that have been coming in all week for the last 3 or 4 days have just been absolutely unreal. All of us here at Aravaipa Running, Steve Black Media, really do appreciate it. All the donations will go on to support future live streams because we really do want to continue to extend the coverage and the ability to film larger races, get the full race. There's a lot of logistics go into that. And right now, this has been the big test for us. We said, let's just go on and trial and error it at the big Cocodona 250 here in Arizona. And it just feels like weeks ago. And again, we'll get that feedback up of Maggie on Eldon. We did expect to lose it as they came down on the backside. But right now, I will give you a little update of where she's at. Maggie is coming in. She actually is past the aid station and looking super, super fresh. She's going to continue on that trail with Courtney. She's going to dip down to the Lookout Road section and then turn out onto the Oldham Trail. And again, it looks like there may be a chance. Now, can she catch up to Todd Bachmann, who as of 3 minutes ago is at mile 252.6. So Maggie's got about 4 miles to go if she wants to catch up on Todd. And she's looking super strong, as we saw, and we're going to wait to get that feedback up. It'll be coming back soon, but we've got our filmer on the back side of the mountain, so we're going to get that back up as they get into better service coverage. But again, thank you to everybody in the chat. This is a great time to tune in to us to take a look at any of the questions. I'm loving the I don't even know what we'd call it. Maybe puns. Thank you to all the Coco donors. That is absolutely right. That is a big shout out to the Coco donors. Everybody in the super chat giving us all the support out there to help us bring more and more coverage to you in the future. Again, you are tuning into the Cocodona 250 presented by Salomon, and I am your host, Rob Ricardo. I am the marketing director here at Aravaipa Running, and this is a riveting time right now. Riding solo, no tech director, just waiting for our feeds to come back in, and I'm just having a blast watching how this race plays out. I couldn't even imagine what no sleep is like with 250 miles on your legs. So, again, big shout out to everybody who's towed the line at this race. We'll take an update now as we continue to look. And if you want to get the same view at home, you can go to cocodona.com/live. And, of course, there have been quite a lot of DNFs, but as to be expected on a course that is even harder than its creator thought. Of course, that's Jamil Coury, the creator. He is out there. We got updates from Skylar, his pacer, Skylar Hall. will bring up his bib. And it looks like we are getting, yes, we'll bring that feed back up. We do have Maggie at Eldon aid station. I'll have an update on Jamil in a bit. But right now, we'll bring you back over to Eldon. There she is. Your first place female.
And look who else is here.
Oh, Peter Mortimer.
You've been discovered.
Peter, all of us here at Aravaipa just want to say a big congratulations on that effort. I'm not sure if you can hear me out there.
They say congratulations.
I'll wait till it finishes.
Everyone says congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, again, so that is Peter Mortimer, a Flagstaff resident. He did finish second overall. We did manage to catch some visuals of his climb up Mount Eldon that you just saw with Maggie and Courtney there this morning. We topped out on Eldon at the aid station there.
Look at this. Look at this bacon that they're making here.
And this is the famous bacon. I believe this was the bacon that Peter himself partook in with some bacon and Irish potatoes, I think it was, this morning. And big shout out to all of our volunteers out there. It's just absolutely incredible, the village that it takes to put on a race like this. So seriously, everybody out there at all the aid stations, all the crews, all the pacers, all the runners with the guts to toe that line from the front to the back of the pack. And of course, all the viewers, we all thank you here at Aravaipa Running, because this has been such a big undertaking and an exciting week, as we are a little over the halfway point for the Cocodona 250. And again, this will likely be the end of our coverage tonight. We are grateful that we were able to extend our coverage window for the inaugural year.
How far? About half mile.
So we are super thrilled that we are out here on the course. Look at these amazing views. And Maggie looks like she's in and out right there.
Oh, does it need to be attached? It will eventually. It's just charging.
All smiles. Let's take that screen full. There they go.
Okay.
Now Maggie's going to be making her way down Eldon Lookout Road a bit. She's going to turn onto Oldham. She'll dip down, get on the Arizona Trail again for a little bit, come through Buffalo Park, an iconic location in Flagstaff. And we will have some more filmers down there. But again, she's probably got about 8 miles before she gets to that. Well, probably about 6 miles and change before she gets to that point, based on our GPS. But again, look at these views. Quintessential Flagstaff blue in that sky right there. We're looking out O'Leary Peak back there. And of course, the cinder cones. And see if we can get eyes on the painted desert back there. Again, and there are the the mountains that are on the horizon toward the left center of your screen. Those are the Kachita Peaks, the San Francisco Peaks. Mount Humphreys, the highest point in Arizona, at 12,633 feet. The runners right now are around 9,000 feet, which is the high point of the Cocodona course. And just absolutely loving this footage. Shout out to Tony Hill and his brother, who have really showed up. Yeah, Tom Abbott in the chat is saying Maggie is launching a Todd attack, and of course she is in 7th place overall, and that Todd is referring to Todd Bachmann, who is in 6th place. According to the GPS, Maggie, as of 2 minutes ago, pinged at mile 248.7, while Todd Bachmann is at 252.9. So she's about 4 miles back, but it is pretty much all downhill from here, especially when she dips down onto the Eldon Lookout Road and Oldham Trail section, which again, Rory Moynihan took us through with our overall race winner, the Cocodona 250 champion. champion Michael Versteeg earlier this morning, just as sun was coming up in Flagstaff. And again, look at these views out here. And again, this is why we are saying the Cocodona course is beautiful. It is absolutely brutal, as we've seen, but it is undeniably beautiful. And as we make our way back into another patch of ponderosa pines. And again, yes, huge shout out to the super chat donations we are receiving now. Brian with a big donation, Ryan with a big donation. We are super grateful for whatever is coming in. It really means the world to us. It is our goal here at Aravaipa Running to not only put on the best trail races, but we are working toward bringing you the most extensive coverage from our races. And we hope to do more and more of our races. Of course, we did a similar stream earlier this year at the Black Canyon Ultras for the Black Canyon 100K, which is usually held in mid-February every year. Of course, it's a Western States Golden Ticket race. And now we're trying it out on probably the most logistically challenging course here, the Cocodona 250, which is just, again, shout out to Steven Adderholt, the race director, who has just put on such an amazing event. And of course, the visionary behind it all, Jamil Coury, who is out there running with his pacer, Skylar. We know Skizzle Fresh, excuse me, quite well of Mountain Outpost Pod fame. And Skylar Hall did give me another update. He says he is not going to be taking Jamil up Eldon. He will be picking up none other than Flagstaff local Eric Sensman. So looks like Jamil's going to have a lot of good legs going up that climb. And he probably has a little ways to go before he gets there. He will probably hit that climb during the night because he still is about halfway to Walnut Canyon aid station. But again, we are looking at an amazing view as we follow behind our women's race leader, Maggie Guterl, and she is being paced currently by Courtney DeWalter. And we're loving some of these comments in here. They say, thank God the stream is back. They actually had to work today. Yeah, all of us here are super excited to be bringing you this coverage, and we apologize to your employers if it has been negatively impacting your work output and productivity. We take zero responsibility for that. But again, all kidding aside, we really, really appreciate it. Again, as we go out into the backside of the mountain, the feed might cut in and out, but we are going to keep eyes on Maggie, 7th place overall. And this is just an incredible section of trail. The views are phenomenal, and we want to thank Tony Hill and his brother who are swapping the camera back and forth. I'm not sure if we have Tony on the cam right now or his brother. Is this Tony?
It's Josh. Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, thank you so much.
Yeah. Trying to give a little space for Tony to get some epic drone footage.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll tilt that down a little bit as we continue to follow them. You see our race leader, Maggie Guterl, is coming down the trail. Again, she's got the A-team pacer, Courtney DeWalter. And is that... Is that one of our photographers there?
It is.
Is that Howie? Or is that a Rob Krar sighting? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a Rob Krar sighting on the trail. I cannot. It is. The potentially. I'm not able to confirm. I did cut out the audio, but again, wouldn't be surprised. Flagstaff is full of amazing, kind, hospitable endurance athletes, as we've learned from the few that we have had help us with our coverage earlier this morning. And that is why, yes, exactly, Matthew. Oh, and that is Matt Feldake, Matt Feldake, my co-host, who is at home right now getting some much-deserved rest and spending time with his family, is saying it is Rob Crawler's beard. So, and I do recognize that cowboy hat style. So we have a great visual on Maggie as she makes her way down the trail in Flagstaff. She is with an A-team pacer, of course, Courtney DeWalter, who's been pacing since Camp Wamatochik for Jamil. She had been trading off duties with her husband, Kevin Schmidt. And then as Skylar Hall went in to pick up Jamil, Courtney has now swapped out to pace Maggie. And yeah, AJW in the chat. Again, shout out to Andy Jones Wilkins. He's absolutely right. Rob Crawler does know that trail probably better than most people out there, as he is a Flagstaff resident. Yeah, I think we might have found the new best beard of the stream so far. Of course, because it is Rob Crawler's beard, which does have its own Twitter account, if I recall, unless it has since been suspended for being salty. But I think otherwise, we've got a great coverage, great look at Rob Crawler.
I'm on the CCC list. But, yeah, keep it on the down low, you know.
Yeah, everybody in the chat is saying, "Bring it home, Maggie." Interesting fun fact here from Ryan Pennington saying Peter Mortimer, our second place finisher, who he finished earlier this morning, saying Peter Mortimer burned 32,774 calories on the run. I'm going to assume maybe that's on his Strava. Again, that's actually a good point. I haven't looked at either of the Strava accounts from our finishers, of course, because we... And it looks like Joshua Locke is making his way to downtown Flagstaff. We do not have our camera feed up in downtown Flagstaff yet, but we will get one soon. But right now, we're going to keep all eyes on Maggie as she makes her way down to Heritage Square in Flagstaff, the finish line for the inaugural Cocodona 250. And I have definitely been having a ton of FOMO watching this amazing footage unfold from the Black Canyon, the Saguaro Cactus in Black Canyon City, to the Pines and the Bradshaws, the Red Rocks in Sedona, and of course now back into the Ponderosa Pines on the Coconino Plateau. But I'm glad I'm going to get up there tomorrow. Check out the course, cheer people on, because again, this will be the end of our live stream coverage. This is our surprise primetime show. And kudos to Tony and Josh Hill, who are helping us get that footage. Maggie and Courtney.
That's Tony coming up now. Yeah, in the car. We're gonna swap. No, yeah. He doesn't. He's not trying to pass you. Doesn't want to dust you either. Yeah. Yep. Just park it and come to me.
Okay, we're trying to get a camera swap there. Of course, giving Maggie as much space as possible. And we do have a camera feed from Jeff Roast down at the finish line. We're going to go to that very soon.
Cool.
I think actually Joshua Locke might have finished. It looks like 24 minutes ago. I was looking at the ping. But again, look at these beautiful Fire Road views here in Flagstaff. Take our time to get around the runners here, give them their space, and of course, we'll take a quick look down at the scene at the finish line. In Flagstaff, this is where she will be heading. And that looks like Josh Locke right there, which I believe would be a 5th place finish if I'm not mistaken. We can have Jeff unmute himself for a second. Maybe we can hear what's going on in the scene there. And we will get the Maggie cam back up momentarily as she makes her way down. It looks like it will be back up soon. Jeff, can we confirm, is that Josh Locke there?
I think I know where it's
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Yeah, so again, shout out to Chandler, Arizona resident Josh Locke. Again, as we predicted, because of the benefit that course knowledge, or at least maybe not course-specific knowledge, but terrain-specific knowledge, climate-specific knowledge. And again, we are going to go back to Tony there. Tony's getting his stuff out of the car. We are looking at Josh Locke. And again, that banner did say Michael Versteeg wins Cocodona 250, which he did. But giving you an update there. I'll update that banner in a bit as we watch the scene in Flagstaff. We're going to get Tony Hill's feed back up momentarily, what I guess we can now dub the Maggie cam, as she is running away with a commanding lead, and it's pretty all downhill from here. We'll bring that back up for you. Again, the feed's going to cut in and out. We're on the backside of Mount Eldon right now, and there we go. More beautiful views. It's probably going to have a beautiful sunset ahead tonight. Bear with us as that feed is going to cut in and out. Again, full transparency, I've dropped my crew and my pacer just to use some amazing, just to use some ultra analogies here. Riding solo, I'm running out solo ahead of the pack right now here in the studio. Double duty with some tech and some commentary. But we will get our feeds back up soon. And yes, we will take you back to the finish line now. And this is the scene down in Heritage Square in Flagstaff. We'll have Jeff unmute himself for a bit. Maybe we can get a word with some of the volunteers down there, or maybe, is that Peter Coury in the Javelina 100 shirt? Potentially. Maybe we can go over and talk to Peter. Again, this is Jamil's father and crew chief.
Sure. Hey there, are you Peter Coury?
That is him.
Cool. So we have the live stream, and we're wondering if you had a chance to chat for a bit. Sure. Cool. Here, and here, if you'd like, I can give you this so you can hear. That has not been in my ear.
Not a problem. Hello.
Hey, Peter, it's Rob in the studio down in Phoenix.
Hey, Rob, what's up?
I'm great. How you doing?
Doing real good.
So
Taking a little break in between crewing. Jamil's on his way to Walnut Canyon. Expecting to be there by about 6, so I got about 20 minutes to grab a little bit to eat, and then I'm going to head over that way and meet him there.
So you're gonna what is the strategy as you go over to Walnut Canyon? Is there gonna be maybe some real? You're gonna bring some real food, or is there gonna be more of a gear swap?
Actually, his hydration and nutrition has been great all along. Between myself and the Pacers, we've been making sure that he's been eating. He ate a real good meal at Tut Hill and went out, and he's with Skylar. Skylar's pacing him right now. And so nutrition hasn't been an issue for him. He's been hydrated, eating enough food, doing his energy in between. So that's the only issue he's having. Sore feet, just like anybody else, but he's moving well. We're pleased where he's at.
Yeah, absolutely. So what has been your favorite moment so far as the crew chief of Jamil, again, who is the creator of this beautiful, which we're dubbing this race brutal because it is quite brutal, but it's undeniably beautiful. So what has been your favorite moment so far of your crewing duties for Jamil on the Cocodona 250?
I think just the variety of pacers that he's been able to come and run with him. You guys know who they are up to this point, and found out that Eric Sensman's going to come and take him over Eldon. So that's pretty awesome. Jamil, felt real privileged that, he did get the crew members that came, and they all had a great time. So to me, that's the height of it all, is that the people that got to share it with them, they just all loved it. So I guess that's the best moment that I noticed all through the race.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for those updates, and we'll let you go. Get ready to head down to Walnut Canyon so you can meet Jamil, and tell him I am wishing him my best from the studio here in Phoenix.
You bet, Rob. Take care.
Take care, Peter. All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay.
Lovely update there. Thanks to Jeff for making that happen. Again, Jeff was also our filmer down there in the late hours of the night. I guess it was maybe a little bit after midnight. We were able to get an interview with Michael Versteeg's mom, the eventual race leader, overall champion for Cocodona 250. Again, he was running out front most of the race and continued to have a pretty commanding lead. But we talked to his mother, Mary, right there downtown. And now we've got an interview with Peter Coury. So again, as you heard him say, Skylar is going to be ending his pacing duties before the Eldon climb. I know a lot of you were asking whether or not Skylar was going to be, stretching his legs past that run flat, stay low branding that is Skylar's brand, and adding a little run steep, get high in there. But of course, Jamil is going to be in good hands either way, but he's going to pick up Eric Sensman, which, again, no stranger to any of these trails in Flagstaff. We've got Eric Sensman, Black Canyon Golden Ticket winner, and so much more. Going to be taking him up. Nothing like having a Coconino cowboy take you up to the final climb in the Cocodona 250. So we will see if we're still on the air at that point. Again, we have limited coverage. This is the bonus prime time that we are trying to make happen so we can get eyes on Maggie, who is our projected women's race champion and currently sitting in 7th place overall. Again, she is coming down the backside of Mount Eldon, and we will try to get our cameras up and running once she gets into an area with better service. We do have another runner waiting down in the Buffalo Park region that will be able to pick her up. And I want to thank Jeff, who has just been holding it down at the finish line for us. If you joined us earlier this morning, we did have a lot more. We had a lot of fans out there cheering in Michael Versteeg. And right now we are going to be awaiting the women's champion. Again, it looks like it could be and very well will be Maggie Guterl. So again, we do have Maggie's cam back up. So let's go on to the Magatron cam up on the backside of Mount Eldon. She's heading down Eldon Lookout Road. That is Maggie on the right with her pacer, again, Courtney Duwalter. And again, bear with us. That feed's going to cut in and out as we dip inside of this, well, kind of between the peaks right there. You said this is the section where you're coming back down. You're going to come kind of closer to the Schultz Pass area, but they will be turning down Oldham Road before they get over to the Schultz Creek Pass area, if I'm not mistaken. But the frame on your screen is Maggie on your left, and in the sunglasses, I believe, potentially in the Guterl sunglasses, I think we've got Courtney DeWalter. She's in the brighter pink pack, her pacer. So that is the scene there, and we'll bring you back as we wait for that feed to come back. We will bring you down to Jeff again for some finish line views in beautiful Heritage Square, downtown Flagstaff. And as we take a look at these views, let's join in to the excuse me. Sorry, folks. It's been a little sleepless over here, but again, no complaints. I feel like I am getting in an immersive experience. As I did talk to Jeff Garmire last night, we had a little one-on-one chat live. It was basically a trail talk with Rob and Jeff, and he was giving us some great insight on what it's like to have very little sleep, which explains the hallucinations that I think I might have been having in the studio. I did think I had eyes on a raccoon up here, which would be very unlikely in down central Phoenix on the second floor of a building. It ended up being my backpack, so that is a side note update. But I did get a good 15 minutes before bringing you this coverage. And I couldn't even imagine if that is just sitting for this long, what are these runners seeing out there? Jeff did say he saw sticks that ended up, snakes that just ended up being sticks, and prickly pear cactus that were growing faces, and I believe talking to him throughout his run. So we'll actually get an update on some of those runners later. But again, we do have our Maggie cam on. We'll bring it back to Tony. And again, shout out to everybody in the chat room here on YouTube with the super chat donations. We really, really appreciate it here at Aravaipa Running. Looks like we'll have that feed cut in and out. We'll go back to the finish line. And let's dive right back into the chat. What do we've got? Well, Ben, I appreciate that kind comment there. Got lots of people rooting for Jam, rooting for Jamil Coury. And there, Soma Hikes is asking, has the fastest known tiger checked in? And again, the fastest known tiger is Jeff Garmire, the legend himself, who I was talking about moments ago. We'll see if we can get Garmire up there. Maybe I can give him a text here. Again, I don't want to intrude on his experience on the Cocodona 250 course, but we'll see if we can get a check-in with Jeff Garmire, or potentially we can get the Jam Cam up and running. Now that we got word and confirmation from Jamil's crew chief and father, Peter Coury, saying he is looking much and feeling much better as he makes his way toward Walnut Canyon, and according to the latest update on our GPS track. Actually, this is actually perfect. We actually have Jamil, bib 30, and Jeff Garmire, bib 24. They are not too far from each other, making their way on the north rim of Walnut Canyon. They are about 5 or 6 miles back from the aid station there. So maybe we'll be able to check in with one or both of them. I know Skylar said he was going to check in once he dropped them off, but it looks like we've got a little ways before that happens. And again, huge shout out to everyone who towed the line and is still out there on the Cocodona 250 course that stretches from Black Canyon City to Flagstaff. And Flagstaff is exactly where we are right now, looking at your screen. I believe we've got our photo crew out there to the right. I think I got eyes on Howie Stern setting up his flash, and next to Scott Rokas. Maybe we can unmute, go over and talk to one of the members of the photo team and see if we can get some insight on how this whole experience has been for them. I see Scott might be able to hear us as he's looking our way. That's Scott in the white hat and the light red shirt there. And that is, we do have an all-star crew that I did get eyes on Mike S. and, of course, Jubilee Page, who we checked in with overnight as we were getting the finish line set up. So, yeah, we're going to unmute in a second, and we're going to talk.
I don't know. You're chatting with Rob.
Mr. Rob, it's been so long.
Rob, what's going on? It's Scott Rokas. Oh, my God. I just said, Rob, what's going on? It's Scott Rokas. Sorry, sleep deprivation is real on and off course, folks. So, obviously, Scott, this is Rob. Tell us what the experience has been like for you and Howie and Eliza out there.
Yeah, I mean, so this is, I think, about the 14th 200-mile race that I've covered. This, of course, is the first time here. And one of the things, like the Black Tank climbs, maybe 4 years ago, I was out hiking that. And I just thought, God, I'd love to shoot a race out here someday. And then lo and behold, Jamil at the same time is developing this concept, and that's what we get to do now. So it's beautiful. The variety is amazing. Like yesterday, going from full clothes, long sleeves, Spain Ranch in the morning, Mingus Mountain, seeing the spread. As every runner came through to that hang gliding launch point for top of Mingus Mountain,
Right.
I pointed them and I said, "There's the Black Tank Climb. There's Sedona. There's 89A up in Flagstaff." Right. So I think that was a really interesting moment for a lot of people up there. And then you descend down to the river at Bird Eye Creek. Very different from Pain Ranch. Very different from the first day of climb. Different from the Bradshaws. I think that's the special thing of this race. The sections are somewhat long, on purpose, but they're all different. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a question that's been common in the chat room. We're talking about sleep strategy for runners. I'm curious what the sleep strategy is like for a photo team that is constantly behind the lens. Tell us what that has been looking like for you this week so far.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. Something I didn't expect coming into this is, a lot of this organization, it's their first time they're taking on not only a 200, but a 250. And there's so much excitement in day 1 and 2. You go. But the finish line is where you're going to need endless energy, because everybody starts coming in over and over and over. And what I've been talking to the film crews about is that they're all super sleep deprived. And some of them are sleeping now, and you can't do math. You're at too much risk driving sometimes. And so what I've learned over the years is what I instructed our photo team this year was sleep early, like day 1, day 2. We're gonna miss some of the night shots, but we're gonna be able to get all of the finish line content and still be out on course. So for us, getting 3 to 4 nights of sleep, night 1, night 2, sets us up for the longer days later in the race. So that's my advice for the team, and that's what's worked pretty well so far.
That's awesome. And are all of you going to be out there through Saturday, through the last finisher?
Yeah, so we've started our 12-hour rotation of finish line. One of I think the most important things for the runners, the glory shots are beautiful, that's a lot of fun, but one of the most important things is getting that high quality shot, them coming through that finish line. So all hours of the day, we have to have somebody up with a lighting rig at finish line. And so I've been taking the last 12-hour shift, and now Howie's just come in, and now I'll go back out on course to get sunset somewhere. And then Eliza will be in here to cover it all during the day tomorrow. So we will be on course until the last finisher comes in. That's always my motto. If somebody's on course, then we're on course.
I love it. Well, that is some great insight from how to photograph an epic course that is as long as the Cocodona 250. So, Scott, I'll let you go get back onto that photography. duties there, and I will be making my way up to Flagstaff tomorrow, as this will be the end of our live stream coverage, and we will maybe get to link up there and see the scene. I am having huge FOMO sitting here in Phoenix as we watch everything play out.
I can't imagine, right? I mean, that you're down there and being able to see all the feeds and see it, but not feel it, right? So it'd be exciting for you to come up to Flagstaff and actually, I tell you what, these first 5 finishers, the energy at the finish line, like I'm in tears behind the camera. It's chills. It's a really awesome experience, and there's a couple hundred or 100 plus more to come through, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and it'll be great for you to come see that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I am not jealous of not being able to feel that section in Sedona, though. It did look like it was probably pretty hot between Deer Pass and Sedona.
So I was really looking forward to shooting in Sedona in really, like I mentioned, Black Tank area. But somehow I ended up laying in the Verde River all day yesterday photographing runners, and then coming in and doing finish line today. So you talk of this Sedona heat, but I'm just not sure I felt that yet either.
Oh, that's perfect. Keeping cool in the river. So, Scott, I'll let you go. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you in the next day or two on course. And again, that's Scott Rokas. He is part of the great photographer team we've got out there of Scott, Howie Stern, and Eliza Earl. So, yeah, great stuff. And we are going to go back and take a look at the leaderboard as we wait to get Maggie's cam back up. The latest refresh, again, Maggie Guterl of Durango, Colorado, former East Coaster. Yeah, so she's going to be making her way this winding fire road. And then again, right here at that junction, she's going to head down Oldham, and that's where we might be able to pick her up with a camera. If not there, we'll get her as she gets closer to downtown Flagstaff. She jumps onto the Arizona Trail and goes to Buffalo Park. And then she's going to go over Turquoise Drive, up and over Hospital Hill. She'll hook a left on Beaver Street, and she'll make her way to the scene that we are looking at right now in downtown Flagstaff, Heritage Square. The finish line of the Cocodona 250, and it's just it looks like a beautiful day out there. So yeah, so actually, Jeff, if you can hear me, what were you down there on scene when after we had to cut the feed in the morning? Did you catch any of the other finishers coming in?
I caught a couple finishers coming in. I did have to leave for a little while to go to my real job and take care of some meetings. But yeah, I managed to show up right after Peter had finished. And then I was here when Dax finished as well. And so again, just like Scott was saying, the energy was so high. Everyone was so excited. Peter was clearly in a bit of a daze. He told me he felt amazing, and it was just so cool to see him, standing and awkwardly hobbling around at the end of the course.
Well, that's great. And yes, we do want to give another huge shout out to all of our volunteer filmers out there. We would not be able to capture any of this course without you. And of course, we do want to bring more coverage to with next year's Cocodona 250. Our goal would be to go wall to wall. At least that's the idea that Jamil and I have floated out there, and I believe it is possible, but it's going to take probably 4 to 5 times as many volunteers as we have. So again, always keep an eye out for volunteer signups at races. We will be live streaming future races. And right now, speaking of volunteer filmers, speaking of another filmer out there, we're going to go actually to Tony, where we do have Maggie's cam up.
Wow.
There you have it.
Wow, guys, wow.
Yeah, if you can hear me, she was saying she's looking forward to a seltzer when she gets to the bottom.
To a seltzer, was that what you said?
That is correct.
Is there a particular kind of seltzer? Is this like a Topo Chico is she going for, or is she going to go like with a classic La Croix? Yep, that is the exact reaction that I would have. Topo Chico, again, is probably, it is a big bottle of amazing, especially after 250 miles, so. Maybe we can get Maggie Topo Chico. So if anybody is listening down there, maybe we can get her she seems to be requesting a Topo Chico. And
someone get her like a little kiddie pool full.
a kiddie pool full of Topo Chico. And we might have enough time to even customize that request. We can get her the original. Maybe she wants the lime.
Yeah,
We'll
get
see.
picky.
Yeah, again, that is Megatron heading down Eldon Lookout Road with her pacer, Courtney D, who's had a busy week on the Cocodona course. We are listening in and taking a live look as Maggie makes her way down into downtown Flagstaff. I'm going to check the chat right now and see what our great fans out here are asking. And I do see Rory in the chat, so Rory, we're excited to get you on the double duty for the day. You might be pacing in, not pacing, excuse me, running behind with the camera, follow cam, that's the word I'm looking for. Our men's and women's champion here. And yes, we're getting live word in the YouTube chat from one of our filmers. He is almost to Buffalo Park. He will have, we were trying to get multiple angles on Maggie as she makes her way down toward downtown Flagstaff. So great question from Tom. How many miles has Courtney as a pacer clocked on this course?
Courtney, how many miles you got on this course?
Not as many as Maggie.
That is the perfect response. Certainly not as many as Maggie here.
So do you think that we're going to have you two competing together or crewing? Yeah. The one and done for now. So they're going to trade off.
Yeah, Tom, again, Tom's question. Tom, I think you were spot on. It is probably close to around 100. If you really break down all the areas that she has, the sections that she's crewed, it's probably a little over. Again, I want to thank all 750 plus viewers right now tuning in on this Thursday. It is 5:09 p.m. here in Arizona. Again, I know we have the feed cutting in and out as we make our way deeper down Eldon Lookout Road. Once we get closer and turn south down Oldham Trail, we should pick up a little better coverage as we make our way down to downtown Flagstaff. Again, we've got eyes on Maggie Guterl, and she is going to be heading down to the finish line, Heritage Square, where that's the scene that awaits her. She's on pace to be 7th place overall, if I'm not mistaken. She is about 5 miles out, according to the GPS tracker for our friends at Track Leaders. Again, you can check out the live tracker for any of your runners and search by bib number or name. And there you have it. Yeah, it looks like she's at mile 251, 252. So again, we'll take it back to the finish line as we await Maggie Guterl. Yeah, Tom, exactly. The sound is going to get a bit trippy as they come in and out of those canyons, or they dip in between the gullies of the mountains there. I'm not really sure what you would call them in that section, actually, because you're kind of making your way down the fire road, but we do have some limited service back there. I'm actually pretty stoked on the amount of coverage we were able to get on that descent down Eldon initially, where we did see Rob Krar out there. Of course, shout out to the Krarbarian himself, Flagstaff resident. If you've never been to Flagstaff, it is definitely home to not only some of the best trails and the scenic views, but also some of the nicest people in the biggest endurance community. And yes, Desiree is correct. Our second female is Dawn Greenwald. She's about at mile 240. She still has that big climb up Eldon. And as steep as that climb is, it really is beautiful if you were able to see some of the views that we got as we were following Maggie and Courtney up that climb. We are looking in live at the scene in Flag, downtown Flag. And again, if you're just tuning in, I'm your host, no co-host tonight. Just a little bonus primetime episode. We were able to get a couple cameras out there after our initial coverage window was reached earlier this morning, which luckily was right. It was just after and not before Michael Versteeg came in. Again, yeah, because if you're just tuning in and are not familiar with how the last few days have been going, we initially thought that, at least by this time, being 5:13 p.m. in Arizona, so that would put us about 3.5 days after the start of the Cocodona 250. The course is running about 12 to 13 hours slower per split than we initially thought. And again, there's a lot of climbs, and there was a lot of heat, especially in the opening climb in the Bradshaw, making their way up from the Sonoran Desert to the Bradshaw Mountains. And again, that was on Monday, and yesterday, that section from Deer Pass to Sedona. So this will probably be our last stream of this multi-day broadcast marathon. If you caught the tail end of this morning's feed, my co-host Matt Feldick and I we had the tired giggles. We could not stop laughing. And that is just what happens when you're living the ultra lifestyle. Because everybody out there on the course, of course the runners, but their crews, this is a monumental undertaking to follow along for our volunteers and, of course, for all of our Aravaipa staff. So shout out to everybody who's just putting in the time and not getting much sleep, but getting a lot of Great views out there on the Cocodona course. And yes, so it looks like we do have some people that did see the end of end of this morning stream. We did end with a vegan donut delivery, courtesy of our very own Ashton Canstrup, and that started the hashtag Cocodonut. And Cocodonut, we were definitely fueled by lots of coffee and donuts. And this might be the last cup of coffee, because we will probably end our stream once Maggie gets down. And again, we would love to keep the broadcast going all the way to the cutoff on Saturday, but this year that was not the plan, because there's a lot we need to learn out there. We need to see where the best coverage is, and the only way to do that, just like running a race, is trial and error, problem solving on the fly, and just pretty much quadrupling the capacity of filmers out there. So again, if you're listening and you want to be a part of the live stream coverage of this race next year, or any of the future races, actually, I think we might have word that sixth place overall Todd Bachmann might be coming in soon. If that is true, George, can you put the sound on? We'll listen in to the scene down there. I'm sorry, Jeff. Excuse me.
Yeah, so we're here at the finish line. Lots of excitement as we're getting ready for Todd to come on into the finish line. And of course, we have our dramatic music.
Yeah, there it is. And I'm pretty sure that is our royalty-free dramatic music. We are always trying to be on top of that. We have a playlist because, again, for obvious reasons, YouTube can cut the feed. So, but yeah, that is the scene down there in Flagstaff. So I will mute Jeff from on my end for a bit, just so we don't get any feedback issues. But we are waiting. Montana's Todd Bachmann, who I actually had the pleasure of talking to him a few days before he began the race, and he was such an amazing guy, great positive energy, and again, no stranger to these long distances. So maybe we'll get eyes on him at the finish line as we await our Magatron cam to get back up as Maggie makes her way to downtown Flagstaff. And yeah, Maggie does have a commanding lead right now against the rest of the incredible women's pack. Currently, second place is held by Dawn Greenwald, and I believe, and we got Mika Dews in the mix there as they're making their way toward Walnut Canyon. Becky Lynn Bauer. Yes, we do have your feedback up. We are going to bring it up. We've got you. And again, you're tuning in. The runner directly in front of you is Maggie's pacer, Courtney DeWalter. And again, they're both wearing those SLEP Sense Salomon packs, those red Salomon packs. We're seeing a lot of them out on course. It's very easy to spot your runner that way. And of course, that is in the white hat, our race leader, and on her way to becoming the women's champion at the inaugural Cocodona 250, and 7th place overall currently. So according to the GPS tracker from our friends at Track Leaders, Maggie's cruising down at about 4.8 miles an hour, making her way to downtown Flagstaff. And I am in my other feed, I am monitoring the scene at the finish line, which we will cut to momentarily as we await 6th place overall, Todd Bachmann. He should be any minute now. He's just kind of making his way down Beaver Street, I think, already, according to the last GPS ping. And that was 6 minutes ago, so he is probably just a turn away, so I will monitor that closely. But right now you're getting a live look of Megatron absolutely crushing it on the Cocodona 250. And Dave is asking a question. Do the runners get annoyed by the cameras in space? Well, we always ask, and we like to give them their space, but we do always let them know that we are out there filming. We are trying to document as much as the sport because that seems to be the call. We would like to grow the sport and expose it to more people because I think the more people we can get outside, whether it's running, hiking, just enjoying nature, I think will benefit the sport and just the world overall. Oh, interesting, TMF Jones. That's some news I was not aware of, but Ironman and UTMB announced a partnership. Cameras are par for the course when you're a celebrity. And that is quite the compliment from our friends at Highland Running Club. Extra Inning Baseball has nothing on this broadcast. This is pretty much our extra innings. We originally were hoping that our 72-hour planning window was enough to be bringing in both podiums, but again, sometimes you're way off, and that's okay. We learned that this course and the conditions that just so happened on this week in early May here in Arizona was just it made for a much more challenging course than we anticipated. About 12 hours. The finishing time was about 12 plus hours more than we thought. Again, that was Michael Versteeg with a little over 72 hours. I believe it was 72:37, but I'll have to check that. I am closely monitoring the feed to see when Todd Bachmann is coming in. We'll try to get some on him, but again, this is some of this extra coverage for as we await Maggie Guterl. Oh, so it looks like Tom Abbott in the chat is from the UK, running in the fells. Never experienced that, but it's beautiful out there. Trail running the scenery and the terrain is so different around the world, and this is what it looks like here, at least in northern Arizona. And again, this course is the perfect chance to experience the full diversity of the terrain offerings in Arizona. We've got the Sonoran Desert all the way up to the Cocodona Plateau with the Red Rocks of Sedona in between. And again, I want a huge shout out to everybody watching and tuning in now on this Thursday evening at 5:25 p.m. local time in Arizona. This is day 4, stream 3, and our last stream of the coverage as we await Maggie Guterl. Yeah, it does look like Todd is just around the corner. Monitoring my feed. Is this? Looks like, is this Todd coming in? We're gonna cut quickly to the finish line. Where, yes, it does believe we are looking at 6th place finisher Todd Bachmann of Montana. Absolutely amazing effort out there on the Cocodona 250 course. Let's see if we can get some sound out there. And there it is. Todd finishing. And again, we will mute so we don't get too much music feedback, but you see what the scene is like there. Again, getting at finish line photos. That is Scott Rokas, who we talked with about 30 minutes ago, giving us what the camera team is like, working on the camera team we've got out there. Lots of lenses on the ground. So, yeah. Daryl Brashier is saying the Javelina 100 should be great for this if cell coverage is decent. Well, that is the next race we have on our radar of the Aravaipa races that we think it could be possible to live stream like this. And personally, I think that would be a great one to cover, because you really only need to cover 20 miles, of course, because it is 5 20-mile loops. And instead of, because we are learning if we can tackle 250 miles point to point. We're going to cut back to the Magatron cam now. Maggie is, again, making her way down into Flagstaff. We will hope to have a couple angles on her. And again, if anybody is listening down at the finish line, I don't want to make promises that we can't deliver on, but I do know that Maggie looked excited at the possibility of having a Topo Chico waiting for her at the finish line. So we'll see if we can get that for her. And actually, this is perfect time. We're going to bring in our pacer cam for none other than Jam Jam. I think we'll get the right feed up. Let's take a look. And yes, we have Skylar Hall. Skylar, hit that unmute button if you can. I know you're probably, it looks like you're moving at a good pace right there, but let's see if we can get some sights and sounds on the course. That is Jamil Coury on screen there. He's making his way toward Walnut Canyon. I'm not going to lie, quite shocked we do have coverage. And again, yes, it's going to cut out in that area. Anytime you're near that part of the course, the cell reception is a little in and out. So we will bounce back and forth. But either way, all the runners are heading to downtown Flagstaff. That's where they're all heading. So let's see if we can pull Jam Jam up on the cam. And of course, he has Skylar with him because he has not yet got to the base of Mount Eldon. Because that is where he will pick up, that's where Jamil will pick up Eric Sensman, Flagstaff local, Coconino Cowboy. So we did see some folks saying in the chat that Jamil wins the award for the best pacer posse. I will say we've seen some incredible pacing rosters here. Of course, Jamil had Courtney DeWalter and her husband, Kevin, and now he's got none other than Skizzle Fresh Skylar Hall. And we did get word and confirmation from his crew chief and father, Peter Coury, that he will be picking up Eric Sensman for that climb up Mount Eldon and down to downtown Flagstaff. But right now we will, okay, the feed keeps coming back. I want to hold on it because I would love to get a Jamil update. But again, we're just going to give you visuals for now because we are just outside of, let me refresh to confirm where they are.
Rob, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Skylar. How's it going? Oh,
It's going well.
now.
Going
There
well.
we go.
Yeah, we
Awesome.
are. Yeah, there's more between trees apparently. Yeah, we're just over 2 miles away from Walnut Canyon. Just cruising, enjoying the sights and sounds. A lot more pleasurable of an experience than this time yesterday. Significantly cooler, great breeze, and I'm gonna speak for Jamil on this one. And say the legs are still moving forward, which means they are feeling good.
Well, that is well put, and he does look like, even with the shaky video, because again they are, or the laggy video I should say, because they're moving closer and closer to Walnut Canyon, which has very limited service. You can even just tell from the frames that Jamil is opening up his stride and looking fresh, because that is also the word we got from Peter Coury when we spoke about a half hour ago, who is making his way to get ready for his son at Walnut Canyon. Yeah, Jamil's looking really smooth out there. I'm really stoked that we were able to get eyes on Jamil during this bonus primetime footage, because again, this will be the last bit of our live stream coverage as we wait for Maggie to make her way down into downtown Flagstaff. We will get that cam up and running again soon. Skylar, if you can still hear me, anything else before you dip out of pacing duties?
No. No, looking forward to sort of doing a deep dive after all this is said and done, and not just about our experience, the two of us here, but about the race in general. I mean, just going along a live stream when I wasn't pacing. Great kudos to you guys in the studio, even behind the scenes, and I'll hopefully be at a Flagstaff brewery sometime in the next 110 minutes. So if you guys see me, come say hey.
So yeah, if you're downtown Flag, you may see a Skizzle Fresh sighting. You may have a Skizzle Fresh Skylar Hall sighting down in the beautiful dark sky city of Flagstaff. Skylar, thanks for the check-in, and if Jamil can hear me, I just want to say that we are all rooting for him here at Aravaipa HQ. We're holding it down in the studio, and we're glad that we can make him a part of the final bits of this epic endurance of broadcast that we have just been having so much fun putting together for you. So thank you, Skylar, and Jamil, go get him if you can hear me. All right, we're going to cut back to the finish line again, where we did moments ago see Todd Bachmann, 6th overall, Montana's own, come in. Again, we've got our fine folks at MedStar Solutions down there. They were joining the Instagram chat. And again, I want to give another huge shout out to all these super chat donations that are coming in. I know, and we do have an update. I'm going to bring in our Maggie cam. I'm just getting it now. So, according to Jay Pelican, I'll bring Tony's feed up in just a minute. We will get it back up and running, although I do see that we could get the Maggie cam up. There's a little bit of service outage, but for those of you that are wondering at home, will we be able to get a Topo Chico for our women's champion? Projected, but very probable, of course, because she's not there yet, but she has a commanding lead. Maggie did say she wanted a seltzer. I happen to throw out the potential opportunity for a Topo Chico, which is my favorite, and both her and Courtney gave a very obvious, you could just tell from their facial reaction that would be the drink of choice. I can confirm that there is a Topo Chico awaiting Maggie at the finish line at Heritage Square in Flagstaff. And I am learning that Flagstaff's own Drew Fraze is about to start the climb up Eldon. We do not have a camera out there, but again, Aravaipa Racing member Drew Frey's and Flagstaff resident. We'll see if we can get Maggie's cam back up. We'll continue to work on that as I one-man team troubleshoot our primetime coverage here, bonus coverage. And thanks for sticking with us as we continue to give you what we hope to be the most comprehensive broadcast of one of our races. We are just constantly trying to improve and expand the sport here at Aravaipa. And no, let me see. Tony, can you hear me? I'll troubleshoot this right here. Yeah, reset the feed and we'll bring it up. So we're going to get our filmer out there on the course to reset the feed. And we will hopefully be able to bring up the Magatron cam. And there it is.
Check
right there.
1, 2.
You nailed it. That was the problem. And thank you, Tony, for being on top of that. I don't know if you were able to hear me, but we did get confirmation that a Topo Chico is awaiting Maggie at the finish line. And again, that is Courtney DeWalter, her pacer right there with the yellow pacing bib.
I have never had a Topo Chico, but if it's something worth running 250 for, I'm going to maybe try one today. Oh.
Yes, and
Courtney
to be completely
doesn't have
transparent,
Topo Chico
that
either.
they are not a sponsor. They are just a studio favorite of myself. I went through 2 cases in the last 4 days of the lime flavor, and I just happened to ask if she was looking for a Topo Chico or a LaCroix when she requested a seltzer, and Topo Chico seemed to be the seltzer of choice, and we're going to do everything we can to get those requests, because we also will be bringing milk and cookies to Stefan, known as Stefan Claus, the youngest runner in this race, who has been running with a Santa hat. We are going to be giving him milk and cookies when he finishes, and I did confirm that those will be delivered. We may not have a live look at that because we are reaching the end of our coverage, but we are doing our best to deliver on our promises at Aravaipa Running. And again, this is the feed of Maggie making her way. A little bit of a climb back there again, but she is going to be coming in soon. And we do have our other camera up in near Buffalo Park area. We'll take a quick look over there. She's going to be heading through this way. This is the feed of Rory Moynihan, who has already got a lot of miles on his legs. He did run in...
Oh, yeah.
He did run in Versteeg, our men's champion. But back to the Maggie cam as she makes her way over there. And again, thank you for sticking with us. We are in Flagstaff. The service is going to be in and out. No, we are not running satellite for this feed, but who knows? We have gotten a lot of Super Chat donations. So, again, all of that stuff is going to be for going toward continually improving our live stream coverage, which is a focus that we have here to continue to grow and expose more people to the amazing sport of trail and ultra running, and of course mountain biking as well. We do that with Aravaipa Rides. So it's just about getting outside and spending more time in nature, and that is definitely what everybody, all 176 of these runners that towed the start line on Monday morning, have done. Lots of time in the Grand Canyon State. So it looks like our feed there is cutting in and out. We will take a look back to the finish line where Maggie's making her way down. She will be, looks like she'll definitely be the next finisher. So we'd like to thank Jeff for staying in that position. That'll be a great prime position where we can see Maggie come in, and maybe after getting that Topo Chico, we can we can see if she gets her post-run seltzer sip on camera. But again, she is a few miles out now. see her coming into. Rory, can you hear me on the ground out there?
I can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are
How's it
you
going?
on that section just
Can you hear me?
outside Buffalo where the Arizona Trail comes through?
Correct. That tail end, and then
Yep.
right over here would be the main path that goes through. I'm just getting a high vantage and forth between. Yeah, the two cameras could be kind of nice to see them coming uphill here.
Awesome. And again,
framed by Humphreys over.
we will go to Maggie Guterl. And again, I apologize for the banner on that view. That was actually Buffalo Park, not the Cocodona 250 finish line. We'll dive right into some more solo broadcast tech difficulty solving problems on the fly, because this is Ultra. Hashtag this is Ultra. We are here for it. Whether you're a broadcast crew or running out there, it's all about solving problems on the fly. And back to the Maggie cam, we are getting a front view now as she makes her way, and looking really smooth, I might add. So right now, total clock time for wave 1 would be 84 hours, 42 minutes. So that's what clock time would be, as it is 5:40 p.m. local time here. Yeah, and Mark Millen in the chat, I'm going to have to agree. I think we did discover a new sport, ultra broadcasting, he's calling this. It is a new sport in itself. It definitely is. I'm going to probably need some recovery after this, likely a Topo Chico myself, and a couple rest days, but not before going up to Flagstaff to take in those views. Views that are very similar to the ones that we will see right here at the Cocodona 250 finish line. And views like that out at near Buffalo Park, you could see appears to be the very tip of either Humphreys or Agassiz Peak. I think that one is actually Humphreys, way in the back, the back layer of those mountains. Again, part of the San Francisco Peaks, the highest point in the state of Arizona. Good thing Jamil didn't put that one on the course. That'd be a lot more climbing and a lot more miles. But again, in my feed over here, I do see another Ben Light sighting. So again, it's really cool to see some of the runners on the course. And we are going to cut over now. We've got yet another cam. We are looking at Emily Donner, and then we're going to go back. They're heading toward the finish line. Again, we'll get multiple views up as we can in the solo edition of Ultra Broadcast, Cocodona, as some people were calling it from the this morning's coverage. So we'll go back to the finish line view here where they're heading. And again, our feeds are likely going to cut in and out, as we've learned, because there's just not a fantastic service. So it's definitely something, example we learned is bring in some satellite. So who knows, maybe we can make that happen. Again, we are looking live at Emily's cam. She appears to be near the entrance of Buffalo Park, based on what I'm seeing.
That's correct.
Awesome. I will say it definitely is helpful that I've spent a lot of time in Flagstaff, because sometimes when you're on a course for the first time, it takes a little to have it sink in, because we have tons of races out here in Arizona from Aravaipa, and a lot of them I haven't even been on because there's so many hidden gems, but most of the spots on this course I have had the pleasure of checking out, and again, it would not be complete coverage if we didn't get a fox sighting, so absolutely loving that right there. And again, that's Dylan Harris. He is leading the documentary team. I will be linking up with him tomorrow to help with the documentary coverage. So it looks like,
Rob,
is
last you
that
saw
Maggie?
No. How fast were they going?
They were moving about, and again, we apologize for the audio cutting out. It is, it's just what we're dealing with right now. I'm going to keep these visuals on you, because even with the lag, you can't lie, that's quite the view. So Emily, at last check, Maggie is moving, she was moving, it says 3.1, 3 miles an hour, but I would say she was running a little faster than that. It depends on the satellite ping. So yeah, between 3 and 4 miles an hour. I don't have sight of her right now, but she was, I believe, on the Eldon section coming down into Buffalo Park. I don't think she dipped onto that Arizona Trail section, because I do have another filmer out there who's going to alert me. We've got Rory's cam right there. And he does know that section quite well, because he brought in Michael Versteeg, our men's champion, earlier this morning. So again, yes, these are our two filmers. We're going to have Jeff stationed at the finish line. We'll see if we can bring Tony's cam back. I think he still has eyes. Yes, and we're back on the Maggie cam here, as they're cruising down some classic Flagstaff single track on the way into town.
You seem like you have a bad experience.
Yes, thank you to Amanda in the chat. We are still live. We did take an extended break today. Well, actually, we were unofficially wrapping the coverage, because that was our official wrap time this morning. But again, since this course has proven to be much more challenging than we predicted as far as the finish times for our leaders, we are bringing this bonus primetime coverage, we're calling it, in perfect timing, because we've got Maggie, the Magatron, coming down Durango's own with her pacer Courtney DeWalter. She's just a few miles out now from the finish. And if Jeff can hear me, I'm going to see if we can get Jeff back at the finish line, actually. So we've got cameras there. And yeah, we've got multiple views. Again, I want to thank everybody in viewing on YouTube and Facebook. We've got over 1,000 of you tuning in to watch our women's leader and soon-to-be official women's champion of the Cocodona 250, the inaugural event. Again, we've got lots of great views as we are going to be coming in to the Buffalo Park region. And if you're just joining, we are live in Flagstaff, Arizona. What has been quite the trek. That again, shout out to all the runners that have towed the line, all 176 of them. We have a lot of runners still out there, and in future editions of this race, we do plan on covering as much as the pack as possible. But it takes some testing in the inaugural year to figure out what those logistics will look like. And now we learned a lot, and looks like we've got some runners coming up. Local runners, again, lots of Flagstaff's a huge running community, endurance community, lots of mountain biking, ski mountaineering, cross-country skiing, and of course, trail running and hiking. And again, we are looking at Maggie Guterl coming closer and closer to downtown Flagstaff. She's going to enter Buffalo Park and then get on the asphalt over Hospital Hill, make a left down Beaver Street, and she is just a few more turns away from that finish line in Heritage Square. And I think they will be coming up soon. I'm looking at my secondary feed here, so I think we might be able to get multiple views on her soon. And again, this is just for the people that have been tuning in since our pre-race show back on Monday. We did make predictions, and since Matt is not here, I will bask in my predictions for going 100%. I did predict Michael Versteeg for the win on the men's side and Maggie for the women. So again, this is more for me to gloat in that if my co-host Matt Feldick is in the chat, because I thought I saw him in there before. And he is exactly in the chat like I thought. So again, shout out to Matt Feldick. And of course, to Chris Warden as well, and our tech director, Anthony Esposito. The four of us in the studio have been having a blast, and of course, everybody on the ground that's been helping us.
Should have 2 angles now.
Perfect. We're going to have a couple angles. We actually have 3 angles to choose from, just in case there's any issues with the feed. And again, it will be shaky. We're asking a lot out of the cellular that we use, so it's just, I mean, again, the quintessential Flagstaff blue skies.
Let's back off so the drone can get some good shots.
So again, we are tuning in. Man, at this point, we are maybe about, I'm going to guess, less than 10 minutes away from an official women's champion at the inaugural Cocodona 250 presented by Salomon. And again, there's a member of our media team. Again, shout out to all the members of our media team, from our drone pilots and, of course, our volunteers out there. We would not have been able to bring you any of this coverage without your help, your eyes and ears on the ground, so we can get the sights and sounds of this epic event. And again, there are a lot of races within the race that unfortunately we will not be able to get visuals on this year. But again, our documentary team will have even more coverage of the race in the coming months. But we are looking at Maggie Cam on Maggie Guterl. Magatron is cruising now on this fine single track. She's going to make her way into Buffalo Park. She'll go out through the entranceway there.
There it is. See the trailhead. Again, thank you to everybody donating in the super chat on YouTube. It is
appreciated by all of us at Aravaipa, Steve Black Media, the media wing of Aravaipa Running. And keep in mind, we are going to try to have that Topo Chico ready for, again, a request of Maggie's as she makes her way down the dirt road that cuts through Buffalo Park. And if you've never had a chance to run up in Buffalo Park, it is an incredible place to stretch out the legs if you want to get your lungs used to some higher altitude running. It's a popular training ground for a lot of folks there. Trail runners to those on NAZ Elite and all the great athletes that are up in Flagstaff.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I think it's good for getting all the way in. That way. Yeah, I actually.
Again, that is them on your screen. That's Maggie on the right. Her pacer Courtney to the left, I believe. They're both wearing those red Salomon packs, so from a distance.
I don't think it matters too much.
Again, we've got a couple people following here. We'll switch over to Rory's cam real quick. Got a couple angles on our women's champion.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and drop if you're good, and switch to T-Mobile.
And again, yes, Pav in the chat is reminding us that there were a few finish line promises that we are trying to make sure happen, and I can confirm that at least 2 of them will be happening. That is bringing Stephen Claus his milk and cookies. He is still yet to finish. We will try to get Maggie Cam back up momentarily. There we go. We got another eyes. This beautiful footage is now coming from Rory Moynihan, Flagstaff's own. And again, Rory doing the double duty for the champions at Cocodona. He also followed in Michael Versteeg early this morning. And now as the day closes out, he's having a little bit of deja vu. And I'm going to guess he's getting in some nice shakeout miles after that big 5:30 marathon pace that he said he did for Molly Seidel yesterday. So, again, huge shout out to all of our follow cams and all of our filmers out there. And if Tony can hear us, we will need him to restart his feed so we can get it up on our board.
This side.
And I believe that we have a fox sighting as well. Fox, the Aravaipa mascot. And his proxy caretaker, of course, Emily Donner, who's a lot double duty, again, is the theme here for all of our staff and volunteers here. And there you have it. There's the iconic Buffalo Park entryway. That is Mount Eldon behind them. That's where she came off of.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You guys down there.
We will have Rory. There we go.
Yep.
Maggie makes her way in. We've got Jeff ready at the finish line. And there's Maggie's pacer, Courtney DeWalter. And there she is, Megatron herself. Just absolutely inspiring. You were looking at two of the most inspiring women in all of endurance sports coming in together. Completely busting down the door in this sport, and we love to see this. And again, that's really what Cocodona has been. It's been a stage for inspiration from everybody who's towed the star line, all 170 plus runners back on Monday. And the grit and determination is just amazing. Maggie came back up in a minute. We're going to switch over to Tony. Again, they're cruising in toward downtown Flagstaff. It is 6:08 p.m. Looks like 73 degrees as the sun makes its way closer to the horizon. We're going to have quite the scene at sunset here. There is one of our filmers in view. That is Tony Hill, I believe. Yes, that is Tony Hill. Big shout out to Tony Hill and Troy Wicks, two of our drone ops who also were doing the double duty on the ground and in the sky. Great follow cam footage from the trail gangster himself, Rory Moynihan. It really is a community effort out here to make it happen. So shout out to the locals in Flag that were able to step in and step up to help us bring this bonus coverage, bonus live stream. Village champion making her way down toward the finish line. Similar sights and sounds that we heard as we just took it all in with Michael Versteeg. We had folks in the chat on YouTube using the hashtag Cocodona ASMR, and it really does. You can just bring yourselves right to the trail and you just hear a nice crunch of that dirt road as we head on toward the asphalt. And again, it's been a huge amount of fun for all of us just following along in the community in the chat. Shout out. Yes, this is a good representation of Colorado here between both of the people on the screen. Of course, to the right is Maggie, and to the left is her pacer, Courtney DeWalter, both Colorado residents. So we're getting a shout out from Ageless Wanderer. thank you to my co-host Matt Feldick, who is helping out in the chat as he is home enjoying some much-deserved time off. He is going to be update you with some of the links of that Discord if you want to keep the chat going well after our coverage ends. You hear the cowbells bringing them in now.
Yeah.
Here's the scene. We are seeing a comment from moments ago from Jeff Heinen saying there needs to be a 24/7 Ultra News network. I do love the idea, and now having tested it out with our 26-hour straight coverage that we did last night, I will say there is a limit. But again, there's always time for progression. But a little 15-minute power nap. I was actually collecting some trail data out there to see what the runners were doing with their sleep so we can utilize it for the Ultra broadcast that we've been providing. And I will confirm that a 15-minute power nap on the couch in our studio is just what I needed to fire up the old system again and get our teams out there and our excellent volunteers and filmers, and loving this view out here. And again, we've got 2 angles now. On Maggie. Yeah, it sounds like James Austin is going to head to Flagstaff to cheer on some finishers. I'm excited to do the same. I'm going to probably head up there sometime tomorrow after wrapping this live stream coverage tonight. And we are seeing a new potential trend in ultra fashion, courtesy of Eli Dickerson in the chat, is saying hashtag teal polo. I might have to agree that that is a good look, and it could be the new trend in ultra fashion. Yeah, Eli's saying Maggie is strong. What an amazing athlete. Incredible. All the athletes out there have been so inspiring, and to see Maggie come through looking so strong. This is just an amazing moment, being brought in, and here they are touching down on the sidewalk. They're going to cross, they're on the asphalt now. And here's a look from the back. We got both of our filmers on there. And I am listening in my ear to some sounds from bystanders. They're now finding out that some passersby are finding out that Maggie, this runner that they have eyes on, is finishing a race. And it sounds like they asked, well, how long is the race? And she said, it's a 250-plus miler, and they seemed to not believe Emily on the ground. But that is, of course, what this race is. Believe it or not. Here's the scene as they make their way
I'll go if you go.
And there's San Francisco Street. They are very close now. Just tuning in, we got about 1,300 people now tuning in, watching. We gotta give her space for a bit as she makes her way up. Again, there is some questions about the rest of the pack, that is within the final 8 stations. We do seem to have a race between Trevor Medding and Taylor Spike. Again, we do not have any cameras on those runners, so it is going to be a nail biter. We're going to have to follow the through the GPS here, but we are here for the bonus coverage to watch Maggie, our women's champion, and we can see there's a course marking on the ground. Maggie and her pacer are just waiting to cross the street. Nothing like having to wait for the crosswalk.
Just another day walking down the street here.
Just another day, Tony.
We're definitely getting some looks, like everyone.
I heard I was able to.
2 cameras on her.
I know. Just told them they're out for a stroll. I'm just going to add, watching this all unfold has just been an absolute treat from the studio here in Phoenix. I myself am having a bit of an out-of-body experience, and it's just been an amazing 4 days on the course, and of course there are a couple more days before the final cutoff. Thank you to all 1,300 viewers tuning in. Remember, we are going to continue to try to bring you, we'll continue to definitely bring you more live streams of future races here at Aravaipa. So if you want to be aware of those live streams, please smash that like button and hit the subscribe button. And that like bell will alert you when the next time we're going to be going live. But again, this is the finale, at least, of our live stream coverage for this edition of the Cocodona 250. As Maggie makes her way into Heritage Square. She's cresting over Hospital Hill right now. And if I'm not mistaken, she's just going to go down and make a left on Beaver Street, and she is pretty much home free at that point. And again, there is a member of our documentary team, Dylan Harris, making sure he's getting all the shots for that. It is sure to be an absolutely epic finish montage.
Gotcha.
Sounded like Tony had some information on the amount of sleep that Maggie might have gotten. It sounded like 2 hours total. Let's see if he can confirm that.
2
Might have
hours.
been some
2 hours plus trail naps.
2 hours plus trail naps. And again, what is a trail nap? For those of you wondering, it is exactly what it sounds like. Pull over on the side of the trail, shut the eyes for a bit. And then get yourself up and keep pushing forward. That is a popular strategy for runners out here in the Cocodona 250 course. We are so close now, folks. I literally, my heart is beating that this moment is upon us. It could be the caffeine, but I think it's mostly the entertainment and the amazing, inspiring effort that we're witnessing here. For Maggie, that is her in the tailwind hat.
Got it.
And she's got a green light to go ahead to the finish. So here we're gonna.
Yay, you're almost there! Congratulations!
I just got confirmation that I do not have the FKT on broadcast. Somebody thought I did. I don't think there's no way. There's got to be somebody that's done crazier stuff. Yeah, we see somebody did 9 straight days. That sounds dangerous. No thank you to that. So again, you hear them cheering in Maggie. Folks, she is on North Beaver Street. This is the last stretch before she makes the final couple turns into Heritage Square. Again, Maggie has a huge virtual cheering section as well, with about 1,500 people now in YouTube cheering her on. She is so close, folks. And again, if you haven't been with us for the last hour, 2 hours since we've been on the air on this bonus primetime coverage at Cocodona, Maggie requested a particular sparkling seltzer at the finish line, and we do have confirmation that a Topo Chico is awaiting your women's champion at Cocodona 250. So it's a moment to watch. No update on if Michael Versteeg is seeing the Suns yet, but we've got eyes on Tony. And see if Rory can also get his feed back up.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone can hear me, but I'll just say right now, it's been a pleasure holding on to the phone. I feel like I'm carrying all 1,000 people sometimes. It's been a pleasure.
You definitely can feel the pressure. I know what you mean. Tony, you've been absolutely killing it. This is the voice that you're hearing over there. Our filmer, one of our filmers, Tony Hill, he is responsible for a lot of that drone footage that you've seen over the last few days. But he's been doing double duty on the ground along with Troy Wicks, our other drone pilot. So shout out to them. Making our way in. Any minute now, she'll be making that turn. Maggie Guterl, the runner on the right of your screen, again being paced in by good friend and fellow Coloradoan Courtney DeWalter. There's our documentary team trying to capture all of the action.
This way? I think so. Oh, right here. Right here.
Here we go. Here we go. Shout out in the chat. Really is Colorado in the house, and it's got two of Colorado's finest runners and athletes enjoying a taste of what Arizona has to offer. The Cocodona 250 course. They are making their way to Heritage Square. They are in downtown Flagstaff, and we are right there, folks. Tony Hill is bringing us this great footage. She's going to continue to film through the finish line. We get eyes on the runners.
Come on.
There she is. And there you have it, Maggie Guterl, the champion of the Cocodona 250. You heard it called by Jubilee Page there on the spot. Let's listen in at the scene at Heritage Square in downtown Flagstaff.
7th overall and first woman to cross the finish line of the Cocodona 250. Big round of applause and make some noise for Maggie Guterl!
What a moment. There is her crew. taking a photo underneath the Cocodona 250 banner.
It takes a village.
What a scene. And she has a huge virtual cheering section as well. We've got about 1,600 people in YouTube cheering Maggie on. And there it is, the Cocodona belt buckle and premium finisher award there. And I do have eyes on it as well, folks. You are seeing the Topo Chico that will be delivered to her shortly, which is a special request. It looks like Cody is going to hand her that well-deserved Topo Chico. There is your champion. It's looking like I think she came in around 85:30 on unofficial time of 85 hours 30 minutes. The seltzer was on the screen. I think we are getting her a fresh one. But let's listen in.
We're getting Howie's photo here.
Yeah, so this is the after photo. All of our runners did before photos and after photos, and I don't know, from the looks of it, that looks like a before photo to me. She's looked like she's pretty fresh at the after 55 miles.
Okay. Just stand there.
Thank you.
In a moment, we'll see if we can get her thoughts on that epic adventure.
It's like a sobriety test right after 250 miles. Howie, this is cruel and unusual.
And again, yeah, I second what everybody is saying in the chat. Like I just said, she's looking quite fresh after 250 plus miles. Closer to, according to the GPS, we're looking at around 257 miles. And that's Howie Stern.
Sorry, it was fun to watch.
And again, folks, if you are just tuning in, that is your women's champion.
Is that your seltzer? Oh, there you go. She got it.
Pour her a fresh seltzer. That is the Topo Chico that she requested.
I love the live commentary.
Oh, we got a Caleb Schiff's sighting right there. He is the man behind Pizzicletta, so shout out. We got the whole Flagstaff endurance community out there.
You got a biggest fan?
The #1 mascot Fox over there. So in a moment, we'll see if we can maybe hear from Maggie. If she wants to talk to any of the 1,500 fans cheering her on in YouTube. I'd love to hear just what her thoughts were
I can't walk anywhere without running into a camera.
after 3.5 days
Makes you just shoulder and hover. You always have to have like people in the
on the
front.
Cocodona course.
Just like hopefully they don't move.
Kenneth Abrams is asking, what is the finish line next to in the square? A few different establishments. There's Diablo Burger. Pizza Cletta is not far down the road. The Dark Sky Brewing is right there. There's plenty of options to take in downtown Flagstaff. And yes, folks, this is going to be the last live stream of Cocodona 250 this year. She's being interviewed right now in the documentary team. Let's listen in.
Were you kind of playing catch up there up to the beginning? Or did you ever feel
Not really, but midway through the day after getting then the nights were good and the days were terrible because it's so hot.
Yeah, what are your first thoughts on the route, like in its entirety? Is it like a worthy route, or like
Yeah, it's worthy. It's really hard. I mean, that's the hardest 100K run ever, and that was in the first 100K of the 250 miles. It's pretty hard.
And what was the finish like for you there over Eldon?
Oh, it was awesome. The climb felt really good, but then the long downhill was long. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get a word in with Maggie for the live stream. Oh, there she is, saying hello to Ben Light. There's Ben Light and his wife.
Well, do you know which one of us is going to
If you wanted to ask her a few questions, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
But I think you're on.
He's from the hospital. We've had to lunch together.
Can you hear him at all? Oh, he's hoping that we can ask her a few questions for the live stream.
Yeah. It's going to be time to tell if they did any damage or not.
Hey, Rob, you got a couple questions?
Yeah. I'm curious what her thoughts are about it's a little two-part question. What are Maggie's thoughts about the Cocodona course? And does she have any specific words for its creator, Jamil Coury, who is still out there taking in the thing he created, his brainchild, the Cocodona 250?
Gotcha. I'll try to get those for you.
It's fun to watch him.
Got two questions for you on the live when you're done. All right, two questions. One is, what'd you think of the course overall in Cocodona? Insanely hard. Insanely hard is the quote.
Specific, any specific thoughts for Jamil?
Specific thoughts for Jamil at all?
I'm sure, I don't know, he's doing it too. So.
Direct feedback. So he knows everything.
Well, there you have it. So congratulations to Maggie, who is your women's champion at the Cocodona 250. We'll stay on the scene for a little longer. We will answer a few questions in the chat and check in. But again, this will be the end of the live stream coverage. We have been going strong with a few breaks here and there. I guess we could just look at the clock time. I guess it'll be a little over 86, going on 87 hours of coverage with some breaks. So this has been an absolute blast. And we couldn't have done it, of course, without all of our volunteer filmers on the ground, our drone pilots in the sky. Shout out to all the aid station volunteers, Aravaipa staff, Right there, you're looking to Patty Curry herself talking to Courtney DeWalter, her husband, Kevin Schmidt. It's the scene. It's just been a phenomenal last 4 days here. One big day, as we were saying yesterday, it feels like 4 Mondays. But again, reminder that there are plenty of runners still out there. And while we would love to be able to cover it this year, we can't cover everything in the live stream. But next year, that is the goal. So if you want to be a part of this live stream and any future live streams at Aravaipa, follow us on Instagram at Aravaipa Running, because that's where we will post updates. And again, you can stay in touch, or you can actually check in on where all of the rest of the pack is. If you go to cocodona.com/live, we'll have that live tracker up. I'll be tuning out soon. We'll go check in at home, get some good shut-eye, and say hello to the wife and dog, and head back up for the final 24 hours or so to assist the documentary team to capture some more content from the rest of the pack. And again, congratulations to our Cocodona 250 champions, Michael Versteeg, who we saw come in this morning. And now Maggie Guterl, our women's champion and 7th place overall, who, quote, has said that the Cocodona 250 course is, quote, insanely hard.
You listen to Apex in your phone?
And yes, thank you to everybody in the chat, everybody who's chimed in. We've had, I think we peaked over 1,600 for this one. We do have a lot of questions about the Cocodona merch in the chat.
Apparently, your vertical
leap
decreases after 250 miles.
You can get that at cocodona.com/shop. Made in-house for Aravaipa Artworks. And again, we will have a documentary about this race as well. There's a couple more days that need to unfold before we can even capture all the footage. And we do want to give a huge shout out to the race director, Stephen Adderholt. He has put on a phenomenal event. The creator of this, of course, Jamil Coury, who is out there running on his brainchild. He's had this in his mind for quite a few years. And here in 2021, we're watching it happen, and Jamil himself is still out there on the course.
Rob, I can't hear you anymore. You can give me a wave if you can hear me.
And again, to those in the chat, the documentary will be on
Give it a restart.
One of our YouTube channels. We will have confirmation on that. It will very likely be on the Aravaipa Running YouTube channel, the channel you are on now. So please, if you are watching the live stream, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when we have future live streams, and of course, when the documentary and other video content comes out surrounding this race and other races. But right now, we are going to get ready to tune out to end our live stream coverage of the Cocodona 250 presented by Salomon. Again, congratulations to all runners out there who toed the start line, more than 170 of you. We'll have updates on cocodona.com/live from here on out, so you can continue to track your runners, because there are lots of races within the race and there are lots of stories out there. And just for the update, Jamil, the creator of the race, appears to be at mile 236 right now, which would be Walnut Canyon. So again, we are going to end this live stream. I want to thank everybody again for tuning in. This is the Cocodona 250 presented by Salomon. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Guterl, Gnarly Nutrition, Kogala Light, Squirrel's Nut Butter, Do Energy, and of course, our aid station partners out there, and all the volunteers. I am going to sign off here from the Aravaipa headquarters and go get some sleep myself. I am Rob Ricardo, and this has been an absolute blast. I hope to catch you guys again soon. We are going to wrap it up and head our way back up to Flagstaff so we can get some more sights on scene. So again, this has been solo coverage, so I'm just going to get this all shut down for you. But thank you again. Follow along Aravaipa Running on YouTube, Instagram, and we'll have more updates as this race still has a couple of days to unfold. Again, thank you very much. Signing off. I'm Rob Ricardo in the Steep Life Studios in Phoenix, Arizona. This is the Cocodona 250 presented by Salomon, and we really do thank you.